Welcome back to Artists Exposed with Tym Moss. I am here with my dear friend Richard Skipper. How are you, hon?
I'm doing great. You're about to expose me.
Yes.
I love being exposed, especially when I'm doing the exposing, so that I've got control over it.
Exactly.
A little bit. So I'm going to put everything in your hands right now.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
I have control.
Good.
So how have you been? You look incredible.
It's the lighting, and right here at etc. etc. Don't you feel like Phil Brenner, etc. etc.
Yeah.
That's where we are tonight. Beats the hell out of the subway, which is where we did our last interview.
Oh God, that's right. That's right.
That's
and
right.
That you were saying that was three years ago.
3 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
Well, a lot's happened since then.
Yeah.
Most people who are familiar with me and my work know that for 20 plus years I performed all over the world as Carol Channing.
Yes.
And I closed the door on that chapter of my life 3 years ago.
Wow.
And I thought, what would be the next step for me? And building up the relationship that I built up with Carol Channing over the past few years, I decided that I thought that I would write a book about her life. And then I started, the anniversary of Hello Dolly was looming at the time. It's coming up, the 50th anniversary of Hello Dolly is happening on January 16th. And I've interviewed over 150 people connected with Hello Dolly.
Because I know that you have really put a lot of time and a lot of effort and energy into both Hello Dolly and Carol Channing.
Well, the past 2 years has really been a real focus and shift to Hello Dolly itself. I've been writing a book, which is on hold because of personal issues, which we'll do another show on when that all gets resolved. But it's all good.
So now, a couple of things. One is, I was fortunate enough to see you 3 years ago on stage as Carol Channing, and I swear it was as if I went to a Carol Channing concert. It was remarkable, your knowledge and presence and persona.
I think that we talked about this a little bit before. I mean, one critic referred to my show as a lesson in hagiography, which is the study of sainthood. I see the look on your face. I looked it up myself. I said, is he complimenting me or is he insulting me? And I tell you, I mean, 3 years later, I still don't know if he was complimenting me or insulting me. But the thing was that I love Carol Channing. I'm first and foremost a fan of hers. So everything that I did on stage was to build her up. I wanted to present her on stage exactly as I saw her. And by doing so, I didn't editorialize. I didn't put my spin on things. I find that with most impersonators, when they are impersonating someone, they are impersonating more than the person that they are impersonating. They are impersonating the people who have impersonated that person to get to that point.
I see. Am
I making sense?
Yes, that makes actually.
And I will tell you what I mean by that. When I see a lot of impersonators doing Betty Davis, for example, they're doing Charles Pierce doing Betty Davis because they picked up on the cigarette bit and the shoulders and the whole bit, and that's exactly right. See, you're good. And with Carol Channing, there are also certain bits of her persona. When you think about an iconic person, I mean, I cannot imagine someone 25 or 30 years from now, and I could be wrong, impersonating someone like Britney Spears, for example. They don't have that distinct thing that sets them apart, that like Carol has. So I always wanted to present her on stage exactly as I saw her.
Well, now it seems also, because you had mentioned like their characteristics of older Hollywood icons, Betty Davis, Carol Channing. Nobody these days seems to have their own. It's like they're not themselves. They're scared to allow themselves to be free, to have quirks and
I think that the big reason for all of that are the people who are the movers and shakers of this business anymore. The people that are in this business who are making the decisions as to what you and I will see and will not see are not artistic people. They are not in this business. It's a lot easier when you think about this. And let me give you a quiz for a few moments. Okay. Who is the star of Book of Mormon?
I don't know.
Who is the star of The Lion King?
Simba.
Who is starring in Chicago right now?
I do not know.
Who was starring in Jersey Boys?
I don't. Well, actually, Russell, who's a friend of mine.
But but he's a friend of yours. What's Russell's last name?
I can't think of his last name.
Well, hello, Russell and the Jersey Boys. But the point that I'm trying to make is that when you look at the advertising, you look at the promotions, you look at everything for those shows, nobody knows who those people are. And they are story-driven shows. It is so easy to... and I say this with all due respect to all the artists that are in these shows, but it is easy to replace them.
Right. I'm telling you, if any of you want to know anything about Dolly, the show, the musical, the film, or anything Carol Channing, ask Richard Skipper at richardskipper.com.
Or they can go to callondolly.com. That's where that's where they will see the actual interviews that I've done with everyone.
Well, now also, Richard, just quickly, now you had mentioned you're starting a PR firm.
I'm starting a PR firm.
How exciting.
Well, I'm very excited about this because I want to celebrate people in the arts.
I love that.
And I said this to you before we went on the air. I said, thank God that you also celebrate people instead of tearing them down. And I don't know what it is in our culture where there is such a need to rip people apart.
I agree.
I started writing a blog. I went from Richard's Rants and Raves to Richard Skipper Celebrates. And I love that. And I really branded that in terms of celebrating all of the artists that I go to support. I mean, right now we're here at et cetera, where I'm hosting the Salon tonight to kick off 2014. And I want this evening to be, our theme is setting goals and moving forward.
Nice.
So again, what I want to do is I want to help entertainers expand their audience, to build up an audience, and to build sustainability.
So Richard Skipper, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking a few minutes.
Is this it?
Well, no. What else did you want to say?
No, we'll talk about anything. You throw me a topic and I'll talk about it. As you can see, I can do that.
Okay. Let me see. What about the state of performers now, like Gaga and Britney Spears and all of them?
Well, I actually like and I love Lady Gaga.
I do too.
I think Lady Gaga has created her own persona, but I love the awareness that she's brought to bullying. Also, on top of that, Britney Spears doesn't do it for me.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Well, so many of them are sensationalized without having an artistic base. Gaga, in my opinion, has that artistic base. She's one of the few that you give her a piano, a microphone, and a spotlight, and she can hold your attention.
That's right. And you bring up a very interesting point. I wonder how many people could actually do that.
Right.
If there's a mishap or something, if a light goes out, if the show ends.
Yeah, right. So now with all of the technology, with the internet, with film and the HD television and all of that, what can we do to improve that, to bring quality entertainment?
I think that we need to take more chances.
Yes,
everything is repetitious. If a reality show comes along that takes off, there are 5 more reality shows that are based on the same theme. And I think the producers need to trust that audiences know what they want.
Exactly. I agree.
You know the old story with Loretta Young and her square box?
No.
I don't know. Can I tell this on the air?
Of course.
I can say anything?
Anything on my show.
Well, Loretta Young was doing a show. she was with Ethel Merman. And Ethel Merman could swear like a sailor.
I've heard.
And Loretta Young had this little square box. And Ethel Merman asked about this, and she's, well, if you curse, you have to put a quarter.
Oh.
So Ethel Merman says, here's $20, go fuck yourself. And if people are going,
now that's a personality.
That's a personality.
So please go to richardskipper.com to find out all things Richard.
So we got a show to get ready for.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Richard.
It's
always such a pleasure, and it's always so informative when I sit down and talk to you.
Well, we're going to do this more often.
Exactly.
Thank you, but you got other guests to do. I love you.
Thank you. Love you too.